Should I homeschool my child? And is homeschooling right for my family? Are the questions we've been exploring in this three-part series. In part one, we reviewed 5 things about the public school that you can avoid if you homeschool. In part two, we reviewed 5 things you'd miss out on by not homeschooling. And in part three, we'll be digging into the 5 questions I shared with you at the start of this series that I recommend you answer in your quest to determine whether homeschooling is right for your family. Hey, I'm Kathleen Rumford, and as I mentioned previously, although we took the baby step into homeschooling when my kids were 7 and 3, and we didn't even think about homeschooling beyond getting through the first year, we ended up homeschooling through high school over the course of 15 years. And both daughters and my husband agree that it was a huge blessing individually and for our family as a whole. Now, I understand that you might be thinking, well, she only has 2 kids, and I have 3 kids, or 4, or 5, or 8. While it's true that there are some challenges I didn't encounter because I only had 2 children, I do share on this channel some insights from experienced homeschool moms who homeschooled 5 kids and 7 kids. Based on my experience and mentoring many families, I contend that most people can homeschool. They have the ability. The answer to your question about whether you should homeschool and whether homeschooling is right for your family really has to come from you. Because although homeschooling is hugely rewarding, and I highly recommend it for so many reasons, it does take some planning, dedication, and determination. If this series is helpful to you, please like the video and subscribe to this channel for more videos on homeschooling, including homeschooling through high school. So, here are 5 questions for you to answer honestly when evaluating, should I homeschool my child? And I'll include these in the description. Question 1. Do you feel called to homeschool or have a curiosity about homeschooling, whether from God or an inner stirring that is leading you to explore homeschooling? When I knew I wanted a different option for my rising 2nd grade public school daughter, which I go into more detail in my video on why we homeschooled, I explored and toured 5 private schools. When I wasn't sold on any of them, I started researching homeschooling because I was starting to feel that was where God was leading me, that He wanted me to take on educating her myself. When we decided to give homeschooling a try, even with some extended family opposition, I had no idea we would continue homeschooling for 15 years. Because I didn't feel like God was calling me to homeschool for 15 years. I just felt His calling to homeschool, period. And personally, I just rationalized that I would follow the Lord's leading and dive into the first year of homeschooling and see where it took us. She could always go back to public school, right? So we just focused on that current year and made no commitment to future years. Didn't really think about future years. But my faith was such that I believed the Lord equips those He has called. And how hard could homeschooling 2nd grade be, even with a 3-year-old? Well, it was definitely a year of adjusting, trying new things, getting involved in a homeschool support group and a science co-op. And we saw results as we progressed through that first year. And I'm referring not just to educational results, but emotional results with my daughter also. So I just want to encourage you that if you are feeling a stirring in your heart to homeschool, there's a good chance God is calling you to homeschool your children, and you might just take the leap of faith. Question 2. Do you believe learning at home is a better environment for your child from the perspective of safety, nurturing, social, emotional, mental development, and character, values, and faith development? I asked this in the very first video of this series. If our household environment is healthy and safe, what makes us think that putting our kids in public school is even a good option rather than educating them at home? If we've raised and taught them well for 5 or 6 years, why would we think the school system would be a better place for them now? Do we want those in the school system teaching them, leading them, guiding them, and parenting them? Do you believe you are the best advocate for your child, that you are the best teacher for your child in terms of more than just academics? By not sending my girls to public school gave me a raise, not in terms of money, but in terms of time. The increasing amount of time gave us more opportunity for quality time. Being part of their academics, their social circles, their emotional development, character development, and faith development has bound us together for life. It was not easy, and we did have challenges, but it's time I wouldn't trade for anything. Question 3. Do you believe you can be equipped to homeschool through your own research, in-person and virtual homeschooling community groups, co-ops, and the support of your family unit in the Lord if you're a believer? I want to encourage you so much here because there are so many opportunities for homeschool support in the homeschooling community, whether a local in-person homeschool group or co-op or virtually online through Facebook groups, Instagram, or YouTube. Through our homeschool community, we have not only been supported along the way, but we've developed lifelong friendships. The place we found the greatest specific support was through co-oping with other families. This was huge for us. Co-oping just means doing something cooperatively, whether it's a single class, a year-long course, field trips, or even meals. And this can even span multiple age groups or levels. One way to share teaching is for 2 to 3 families to join forces, and one parent teaches one subject for the whole year or semester, like science, and another parent takes on another subject, like history, and perhaps a third parent takes on another subject, like a foreign language or art. This allows the parent to focus on a subject that they have a stronger interest in and let someone else focus on something they're interested in. This not only helps the parents, but is more beneficial to the students as well to have a teacher with a passion for the subject matter. Another way to share teaching of a course is by each parent teaching a portion of the subject's material. We did this with science a number of times where we teamed up with other families and split the curriculum so that each parent took a portion or multiple portions staggered throughout the year. We also did this as a field trip co-op where something like 30 families signed up and agreed to arrange 2 field trips during the school year so that there were roughly 60 field trips, all different types to choose from throughout the year. Then we just went on the ones that made sense for our family. Similarly, we were part of a meal co-op of 4 families where each family cooked one meal a week for all 4 families. The moms met each month to plan out the schedule and meals so it went smoothly during the month. Then we involved our kids in the meal preparation. That co-op took care of our dinner for 3 nights. We cooked for everyone one night, and then we did our own thing the other 3 nights. It was awesome. Lastly, one of my favorite co-ops was our little girl co-op, where we had about 8 families with daughters all age 5 or 6 years old to start. And the moms all took turns doing fun unit studies with the girls throughout the year. We each did 2 unit studies lasting 2 weeks, meeting once a week. And we did this for a few years. And honestly, it was such a special part of homeschooling for me with my younger daughter. I hope you're starting to envision what's possible and find this exciting and encouraging. Question 4. Can you give your kids and yourself opportunities for socializing with other homeschoolers, with friends, neighbors, and within the community? Given opportunities, homeschooled kids can be well socialized, but it usually takes more effort from the parent to make sure it happens. While co-ops, field trips, and paid classes offer supervised time to socialize with other kids, including those of varying ages as opposed to just their peer group, and with parents, it's important to have social times outside of supervised activities. Getting out to play with neighborhood kids or scheduling play dates with friends or get-togethers as families at homes or parks will really help while your kids are young. When our get-togethers included the parents, the kids played while the moms or parents socialized. And when the play dates or neighborhood playtimes didn't involve mom could actually get things done around the house. All of these opportunities gave the kids time to develop relationships independent of mom. They just played outside, played Legos, built forts, whatever. Of course, there were times when kids bumped heads, figuratively and literally, but that was an opportunity to practice conflict resolution. When my older daughter was in her late 20s, she told me how important that time was for her. Because when I moved her from public school to homeschool in the 2nd grade, she told me she really missed the social aspect of school at first until we found our rhythm with homeschooling. I never knew that until she recently shared that. When this same daughter was in 4th grade, her best friend on our street moved away. He had been her best friend from the time she was 1, 8 years. She was also realizing that she was ready to have a best friend who was a girl. So we prayed for a homeschooled girlfriend around her age, and the Lord brought her Liz. They were best friends for years, homeschooled in many of the same co-ops through high school, and went to youth group together. It was helpful that my daughter told me that she was lonely and needed more time with friends. We not only prayed about it, but we planned activities accordingly. My encouragement is to listen to what your child is telling you in this area and be sure to work with a child who is introverted, like me, to help them figure out how best to get them social interactions also. As my daughters got older, they joined sports teams through the local Christian school and as part of the homeschool sports teams. They hung out with friends unsupervised, went to movies, volunteered in various ways at our church and on mission trips, developed their own businesses, and worked part-time jobs. All of this was fostering independence as well as social skills and friendships. And finally, question 5, have you evaluated your priorities and what you really want for your kids and your family and how homeschooling fits in with that? This is one of those critical questions because you'll need to lean on your reason for homeschooling and how it fits with your family mission when times get tough. So if you're curious about homeschooling or feeling something stirring regarding homeschooling and you're watching this video right now, I encourage you to be prayerful about where the Lord is leading you. You may feel like financially you just can't do it, or that it's going to take too much time, or you work and think that there's no way you can homeschool. Being prayerful and thinking outside the box regarding finances, time, schedule, and family support may reveal ways to make homeschooling work for your family. For example, we cut our income in half when I stayed home with our girls and homeschooled them. I was home for 18 years and only had small earnings from a couple of home-based businesses. It was a sacrifice. We never moved out of our starter home or upgraded to nice vehicles. We camped and did canoe trips locally and only traveled occasionally using my husband's business air miles and a timeshare we had purchased earlier. We just cut way back. And as for homeschooling curriculum, we purchased used curriculum when we could and then resold it. So it didn't end up costing all that much. We were part of a field trip co-op where we came together with many families on field trips for free or a discounted entry. We were also part of a meal co-op with 3 other families, as I mentioned, where each family cooked once a week for the other families, so there was less time grocery shopping and cooking during the week, and there was less waste. With your finances, can you evaluate your vehicles, your home, your vacations, your cell phones, and other electronics, any other type of toys you might have, and review all of your expenses on your credit cards to see if you can make do with less? With your time, especially for those who work, can you get creative with your schedule? Can you job share with someone else so you're not working as many hours? Or do school instruction in the evening and weekends and allow your kids to do their independent work during the day, whether with a sitter, grandparents, or if they're old enough to be at home? Homeschooling doesn't take as much time as public schooling because you're not only cutting out the lost time of public school, you're also giving them streamlined individual instruction. But remember, children aren't meant just to be educated academically. Children need mental, emotional, social, physical, and spiritual development as well. I'd love to hear from you in the comments if this series has been helpful to you as you consider whether homeschooling is right for your family. Please like the video and subscribe to this channel for more videos on homeschooling, including homeschooling through high school. And please check out the resources in the description if they'd be of help to you. Until next time, God bless.